Day 1, Saturday, arrival in Luxor and East Bank marvels. Stepping off the plane at Luxor Airport, I felt my heartbeat kick up with that giddy, delicious sense of I'm really here. Egypt, a land I dreamed about since I was a kid. The staff was there to meet me right away, which was such a relief after a long flight. I was whisked through traffic to the West Bank, where the Eyaru Dahabiya waited for me in all her classic glory. When I first stepped onto the boat, I felt wrapped in calm. Everything smelled of polished wood and fresh air. After a welcome lunch on board, I was more than ready to dive straight into history. We crossed over to the East Bank to visit Luxor Temple, its giant columns catching the soft afternoon sun, almost radiating thousands of years of stories. Karnak Temple was equally powerful, like standing in a giant open-air cathedral built for pharaohs, with hypostyle halls that seemed to go on forever. Touching the hieroglyphs, I felt chills. Dinner on the Dahabiya afterward was a welcome pause, watching the lanterns flicker on the Nile. Summary of the day. First moment of awe seeing Karnak's colossal columns, which made me feel like a time traveler. Day 2, Sunday, Valley of Kings and sailing to Esna. Waking up to the slow roll of the Nile was pure magic. After breakfast, I set off to explore the West Bank, the Valley of the Kings, where every tomb was a doorway to an ancient afterlife. Wandering through tombs with colors still vibrant after millennia blew my mind. Hatshepsut's temple was next, its dramatic cliff backdrop giving me goosebumps. Such a powerful woman, immortalized in stone. We paused to marvel at the Colossi of Memnon, standing there so weathered yet dignified, felt almost spiritual. Back on the Dahabiya, I watched the crew gently push off as we sailed toward Esna. Dinner on the river felt peaceful, surrounded by rippling moonlight. Summary of the day. The rich colors inside the tombs at the Valley of the Kings will stay burned into my memory. Day 3, Monday, Esna and sunset tea. Today started early with the thrill of crossing Esna Lock. I found it oddly mesmerizing to watch the water levels shift under our boat, almost like a ritual. After breakfast, I visited Esna Temple, smaller than Karnak, but its beautifully preserved carvings told a quieter story of devotion. The Dahabiya then glided downstream while we had lunch, and I spent the afternoon sipping mint tea on deck as the sun dipped behind distant palms. Egypt's sunsets do something to your heart. They slow you down in the best way. Dinner on board, under a sky bursting with stars, wrapped up the day perfectly. Summary of the day. Sipping tea on deck with the Nile breeze at sunset felt like a dream. Day 4, Tuesday, Kom and Edfu. The day began with the excitement of discovering Kom, an archaeological site I'd never even heard of before. Its ancient city walls and rock-cut tombs felt like a true hidden treasure. I loved the sense of stepping off the beaten path. Edfu Temple came later in the afternoon, and wow, the falcon-headed god Horus never looked so fierce. The temple was grand and remarkably intact, its huge pylons making me feel tiny in the best way. That grandeur is something photos can never fully capture. As we sailed on, I kept replaying the temple scenes of gods and kings in my head. Another peaceful dinner on the river let me digest all I'd seen. Summary of the day. walking through Edfu Temple's enormous pylons gave me a true lost-in-time feeling. Day 5, Wednesday, Gebel El Silsila and Kom Ombo. Breakfast came with the soft splash of the Nile against the Dahabiya's hull, the sound I had grown to love. We sailed to Gebel El Silsila, a site carved out of sandstone cliffs. I was fascinated by how the pharaohs harvested the stones to build their temples. Sailing onward, we arrived at Kom Ombo Temple in the late afternoon. I was drawn to its jewel dedication, one half to Sobek, the crocodile god, the other to Horus. Standing between those walls with the crocodile mummies on display was equal parts eerie and awesome. That night, dinner felt especially festive as the boat moored near Faris village. Summary of the day: seeing crocodile mummies at Kom Ombo gave me shivers, in a good way. Day 6, Thursday, Basau village and Aswan. After breakfast, I stepped into the heart of Basau village, where I met a local family who welcomed me with the warmest smiles. Sharing tea and peeking into their kitchen was one of those real travel moments. No filter needed. Their simplicity and hospitality left me humbled. In the afternoon, we continued to sail to Aswan, and that evening the crew prepared a delicious dinner. I could still hear echoes of village laughter in my mind as I fell asleep. Summary of the day: the kindness of my Basau village hosts will stay with me forever. Day 7, Friday, Aswan and optional Abu Simbel. Today was a free day in Aswan, which I happily filled with slow exploration. Instead of booking the optional Abu Simbel trip, I decided to wander the souk, watching merchants haggle and breathing in clouds of spices and perfume. I sipped a thick Egyptian coffee in a tiny cafe and chatted with a local artist about Nubian patterns. One of those spontaneous encounters that makes travel so memorable. Summary of the day: getting lost in Aswan's colorful souk was the perfect free-day adventure. Day 8, Saturday. Farewell. My last breakfast on the Eyaru Dahabiya was bittersweet. I tried to soak up every last second of Nile breeze and that sense of timeless calm before disembarking. The transfer to Luxor airport was smooth, but my heart felt heavier than my luggage. Egypt had given me new friends, ancient wonders, and a sense of connection to something far bigger than myself. Summary of the day: saying goodbye to the Nile was harder than I ever imagined.